first. I'd like to call to order the Milan Area Schools Board of Education regular meeting for Wednesday, October 25th, 2023. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you to everyone attending this evening, and thank you to those who will be watching online. Just a few housekeeping items. Ms. Rosen Leacher is excused, and also Ms. Heike is excused. In her absence, Ms. Murray will be our acting secretary. So thank you, Ms. Murray. All right, with that, we will start with communications and community engagement with public comment. A reminder, this meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public meeting. There are 2 times for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. When addressing the board, you will be asked to state your name. The board determines the amount of time granted to individuals or groups to speak. Each person shall be allowed to speak for up to 3 minutes. Board members may question speakers but are not obligated to answer questions or make statements or commitments in response to issues raised by the public. In general, such items will be referred to the superintendent for advisement, investigation, study, and/or recommendation, or designated as future agenda items for board consideration. Are there any students who'd like to address the board? Are there any public members who'd like to address the board? All right, thank you. Next up is routine matters for approval. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of October 11th, 2023.
Moved by Farrow.
Support by Gutierrez.
So moved and supported to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of October 11th, 2023. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Sislo?
Yes, Ms. Freight.
Just for transparency, since I wasn't here, I'm going to abstain from voting because I wasn't part of the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Any others? All right, it's been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of October 11th, 2023. Ms. Murray.
Okay. Sislo?
Yes.
Farrow?
Yes.
Freight?
Abstain?
Thank you. Gutierrez?
Yes.
Heike, absent. Murray, yes. And motion carries 4-0? 4?
Yep.
Yes, thank you.
4-0.
I'll warm up.
You're good, yep. Next up, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting closed session of October 11th, 2023.
Moved by Farrow.
Support by Murray.
It's been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the regular meeting closed session of October 11th, 2023. Again, these were the ones that are in the envelopes. Does anyone have any concerns?
Mr. Sislo?
So if you do have a concern, we would have to go into closed session to discuss it.
Never mind.
Okay.
Mr. Sislo?
Yes.
Once again, due to my absence, I will be abstaining from the vote. Thank you.
Yep. Oh, is that? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what I was going to say. I didn't want to get in trouble.
Oh.
I was not at the closed session, and so I will be abstaining.
Okay. Well, what I need to say then is that that's an issue because we need to have a majority vote of the board. So what I would ask you to do is to review the minutes, and if either of you believe that they reflect of what you believe occurred at the meeting, then it's appropriate for you to vote on the minutes. It's within Robert's rules for you to vote on minutes that you've reviewed, even though you haven't attended the meeting.
Okay, I will review them right now. Thank you.
Yep.
And Mr. Sislo?
Yes.
I don't want to use the word assume, but I'll presume that the discussion is the same types of materials that we've talked about. I've spoke with Mr. Gearbaugh, nothing new, so I could also go ahead as well. All right, then I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Because I have had discussion with Mr. Gearbaugh and feel comfortable with that.
Okay.
I will state too, we have verified with our legal counsel that you can vote on minutes of a meeting you were absent at.
Okay.
That's helpful.
Yep.
I'm comfortable.
All right, so it has been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the regular meeting closed session of October 11th, 2023. Ms. Murray?
Sislo?
Yes.
Farrow?
Yes.
Freight?
Yes?
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Hika absent. Murray, yes. Rosenlinger absent. Motion carries 5-0. And I apologize for my mic.
And I'll collect Carrie's envelope. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Next up is in the area of course offerings. I need a motion to approve Milan Area Schools 2023-2024 course offerings as detailed in Attachment A.
Moved by Gutierrez.
Support by Farrow.
It's been moved and supported to approve the Milan Area Schools 2023-2024 course offerings as detailed in Attachment A. Mr. Gearbaugh.
Yes, just briefly, again, this is a document that we have to have board approved, so that if we get audited on our count day, they look at any class that a student has on their schedule, that class has been approved by the board. The only reason I am bringing it back to you is we had removed elementary library because we were not going to offer that as a special. But when we kept the extra section in fourth grade because of that class size, we needed to keep library for that grade only. And so we didn't want to risk the chance of losing part of an FTE because they audited one of our fourth graders and they were in a class that the board had not approved. So that is the only difference between this one and the one you approved a couple of months ago, is that it lists library for elementary.
Any questions or concerns?
Mr. Gearbaugh?
Mhm.
Did we go back after the discussions that we had concerning the high school courses and change anything into the high school curricula or catalog with what we were offering and not offering, and kind of clearing that up a little bit at all?
No, that would be cleaned up for next year.
Clean up next year. Okay, thank you.
Good question. Any other questions or concerns? All right, it's been moved and supported to approve the Milan Area Schools 2023-2024 course offerings as detailed in Attachment A. Ms. Murray?
Farrow?
Yes.
Freight?
Yes?
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Hika absent. Murray, yes. Sislo?
Yes.
And motion carries 5-0.
Cool. All right, next up in the area of finance and operations, I need a motion to accept the 2023 annual audit as presented in Attachment B.
Moved by Farrow.
Support by Gutierrez.
It's been moved and supported to accept the 2023 annual audit as presented in Attachment B. Discussion. So this is, at the last meeting, we had there was a first reading. We had a presentation from Raymond in regards to it. And then they were going to let us know of any changes. They provided a sheet that there was no material changes, mostly some wording in regards to anything. So again, it's a clean audit without any findings, primary or secondary. So again, great work by Krista and her team. Mr. Gearbaugh, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
No, I just appreciate all the efforts of the board and the finance office to make sure that we ended the year in a positive situation. I'm grateful for that, and we had good planning and good bookkeeping that helped that happen. So I'm very happy to accept this audit, and just want to thank everyone that worked on preparing the documents and providing all the data to Raymond when they were here.
Other questions or comments?
Mr. Sislo.
Yes, Mr. Farrow.
I do have a few comments. They were probably covered last meeting, but I do want to repeat them just for the community's sake. One, the ESSER and 11T funds will be fully expensed or utilized by the end of September 2024. Another item that I wanted to address is that we'll be taking a look at our insurance premiums. We anticipate that there'll be an increase between 10 and 15%, potentially higher. But we will take a look at that. If an adjustment is needed, we'll do that in November or December. The current fund balance for the school district is 15.12%. Our unassigned fund balance is around 10.82%. Our auditor notes that 10 to 12% is generally recommended. And I just want to reiterate, too, that there were no audit findings, there were no material weaknesses identified, and that there were no federal award findings or question costs. So, good job to Krista and the team in the district office. Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions or comments? All right, and again, we vote on this so that this can be sent to those that need to have that audit in time. So it's been moved and supported to accept the 2023 annual audit as presented in attachment B. Ms. Murray?
Freight,
Yes?
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Murray, yes. Sislo,
Yes.
Farah.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-0.
All right, next up in the strategic area of personnel and leadership, I need a motion to approve the letter of agreement with Milan Area School Support Staff, known as MASSS, as included in attachment C. This approval is contingent upon the Milan Area School Staff's ratification of the same letter of agreement. Mr. Gearbaugh. Oh, I need the motion first. I
So
was getting-
moved by Freight?
Thank you.
Support by Murray.
Thank you, Ms. Freight, and thank you, Ms. Murray. All right. It has been moved and supported to approve the letter of agreement with the Milan Area School Support Staff, known as MASSS, as included in attachment C. This approval is contingent upon the Milan Area School Support Staff's ratification of the same letter of agreement. Now, Mr. Gearbaugh.
Thank you. As you know, we've been working over the last couple of contracts to get the salaries up for some of our lowest paid staff. And as we started this year and recognized yet again a struggle to be able to hire parapros, kind of took an unprecedented step and approached the union in the middle of a 3-year contract and asked to be able to pay the parapros a higher wage. My goal was to get the probationary starting pay to $15 an hour. It was $13.53 an hour. So when I did that calculation, that's $1.47 an hour difference. So I felt it was appropriate to add $1.47 to every single step on the scale, so that everyone probationary through step 15 plus under this agreement would receive $1.47 an hour raise. Also, that started to cause a little bit of an issue with the first couple of steps of the administrative assistance scale, because they had a real low first 3 steps, and then it jumped quite a bit. And so to make sure that it kind of evened up their steps, we did alter the first 3 steps of the administrative assistant pay. And you can see I gave you both the original and the proposed amended. I do want to state too that the way that we wrote this letter of agreement, and I had Troon involved in writing it, this is a permanent change. If both the board and the union ratify it, this is where we start negotiating from next year. So that's a little bit different. You can write letters of agreement 2 ways. Letters of agreement can be written that it's just for a certain school year. The reason, that's why these words on here are amended. It's actually changing this section of the contract. So I do want to be clear on that. This is a permanent change. And again, as Mr. Sislo said, you're ratifying tonight. The union has not yet voted, so it will take their ratification before any of this can be implemented. The goal is to implement it they'll basically start earning their new pay rate on the first day of the next pay period. So example, if you approve this tonight and the union votes sometime before November 1st, they will start earning that new pay rate on November 1st. I want to be clear, that means they wouldn't get it on a paycheck until November 30th, because November 30th pays them for the 1st through the 15th. But they would start earning it on November 1st. With that, I can answer any questions you might have.
Mr. Gearbaugh?
Yes.
I have a quick question. How long is the probationary period for paraprofessionals and administrative assistants?
60 days.
For both?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Some groups are 60. Is it 90 for them? It could be. It's 60 for some employees in the district and 90 for others.
So Can I ask another question?
Yes.
So if somebody's hired in at the probationary level, depending on whether or not they're in the paraprofessionals or the administrative assistant segment or area, they would earn the probationary rate for between 60 to 90 days if there are no issues with that individual.
Correct.
Okay.
And then they automatically, after, I think it is 90 days, thank you, Mrs. Durkee. After that probationary period, then they automatically jump to the step one.
Okay, great.
And then the other steps start at the beginning of a school year, so that it's easier to adjust.
So can I just, one more thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just want to note, like, so for a probationary paraprofessional, the current wage is $13.53. After 90 days, without any issues, their rate would be $15.26.
Yes.
For administrative assistants, if they're hired in probationary, their current rate right now is $13.74. If they have no issues after 90 days, it would be at $16.43.
That is correct.
Thank you very much.
Brian, I pulled up the contract, and it is the probation is the first 60 work days. So it may take them closer to 90 days to get it,
Okay.
but it's the first 60 days. So if they're absent in the first time off, or that first 60 window, it keeps pushing the probation back.
And it's not 60 calendar days, it's 60 work
Work
days.
days.
So it's actually totals out to 90 days pretty much.
Yeah.
Thank you for the clarification.
Other questions or concerns? All right, we appreciate the work in looking into this area. And we definitely look forward to a ratification vote as well. We greatly appreciate the work of the paras. We appreciate you coming to these meetings and support of the team. Obviously, we've heard a lot of great work that they've done, especially with the summer boot camp that was put on. So it's clear that they are dedicated to the district, and we should pay them accordingly. So, any other comments? All right, it's been moved and supported to approve the letter of agreement with Milan Area School Support Staff, known as MASSS, as included in Attachment C. This approval is contingent upon the Milan Area School Support Staff's ratification of the same letter of agreement. Ms. Murray?
Gutierrez.
I abstain due to a conflict of interest.
Okay. Murray, yes. Sislo.
Yes.
Farrow.
Yes.
Freight.
Yes?
Okay. Motion carries 4-0.
All right, thank you. Next up, again, in the area of personnel and leadership, I need a motion to approve the bus driver monitor, cafeteria, administrative assistant, and custodial substitute pay rates as detailed in Attachment D.
So moved by Freight?
Support by Farrow.
It's been moved and supported to approve the bus driver monitor, cafeteria, administrative assistant, and custodial substitute pay rates as detailed in Attachment D. Mr. Gearbaugh?
Yes, thank you. We do review our substitute pay rates regularly. And I think it's important to note that the way that we find a lot of our employees for full-time permanent positions is they sub for us first. That gives us a good interview kind of time period with them. And so the problem is if we're not paying enough for substitutes and we can't get good substitutes in, then we start to lack applicants when we have an opening. And so we do feel it's appropriate to review our substitute pay rates. And I can tell you in a couple of these areas, the union groups have come to me and said, will you please pay our substitutes more? So I want to explain kind of what we're doing tonight. In the bus monitor, cafeteria, administrative assistant, and custodian, the substitute pay rate would no longer be something that's set regularly. It will just set itself off of the 60-day or first-year pay rate of the contract. So example, bus monitors would make the pay that they get for the first semester, which is kind of their probationary pay. They have a first semester and then the rest of the first year. Cafeteria, they do not have any probationary pay rate, so it would be a year one pay rate. Administrative assistants would be that 60-day probationary pay rate. Custodian substitutes would be the 60-day probationary pay rate. And we do have some substitutes because we need more staff in the summer in the custodial ranks to get all of the waxing and extra cleaning done. So we do have some subs that come in the summer and actually work full-time for us. During that time, we will actually pay them that first year pay rate. So the custodial buildings and grounds director will come to us and say, these are the 3 subs that are going to be working close to full-time for the summer, and we will raise their pay rate in the summer when they're working for us close to 40 hours a week, and then they'll drop back down to the probationary sub pay when the next school year starts. If a retired employee comes back, we used to pay them the hourly rate that they were making at the end of their employment. The problem is, as you get farther down the road and salaries keep going up in the contract, that started to fall farther and farther behind. And I can tell you, the only way that we accomplish any of our athletic bus trips is by using retired bus drivers that come back. And so they are critical. And so what I am doing here is basically saying they will make the hourly rate equivalent to the step they had earned at their employment. So if they were on step 10 when they retired, they would get whatever that step 10 is now. So the nice thing is we really won't have to come back and review sub pay rates because they will just always set themselves off of the contract amounts. The bus driver rate, I'm just going to be very, very clear. You can see our current pay rates of 1821 first semester, 1873, 1925. We have the ability to hire bus drivers with experience and pay them more. We don't hire any bus drivers that we don't put right at year 3, the highest pay, because our year 3 is easily $3 to $4 an hour behind a lot of the other local districts. That's something we're going to get corrected in the next negotiations. And the only reason we're behind that far is we did a 3-year contract, and those districts have been doing 1-year contracts, and with the shortage of bus drivers, they've been upping their pays. So that's why, and I know this is a little unusual, but we are asking to set the bus driver substitute at 2nd-year pay rate. That's still 1 notch below where all of our full-time bus drivers are at. And remember, the other difference between substitutes and full-time employees is they don't get any benefits. So while they might be making that pay rate that the starting employee is making, they're not getting the insurances and the sick days and the personal time and all of those things. But I just feel this is necessary to keep good subs, and again, substitutes are where our hiring pool comes from. And I like the fact that this now just sets them off of contract rates, and we really don't ever have to come back and review them again. If there are any questions, I can answer them.
Mr. Gearbo,
Yes.
I just want to confirm for the bus driver, the new recommended substitute pay rate would be $19.25 per hour.
Yes.
And then for the bus monitor, the new rate of pay for the first semester would be $12.48. Second semester would be $12.74.
No, they would make the first semester pay rate permanently. That's
Okay.
that's the sub pay.
You're correct, I'm sorry.
Yep.
And then the cafeteria worker would be $12.93.
Yep.
And then the administrative assistants, first 60 days would be $13.74.
Yep, that's what subs will get paid, yes.
Okay, and then for custodian, it would be $16.10.
Correct.
For the first 60 days.
That's the first 60-day pay rate. Substitutes will make that pay rate all the time.
Gotcha, okay.
The other thing is, if the LOA passes, the administrative assistant subpay would go to that new administrative assistant 60-day
Yep, gotcha.
rate. I just want to be clear about that, because it's going to now start adjusting off the contract, so if the contract gets adjusted. Yeah, so again, the substitutes don't make that pay rate for the first 60 days and then go up. That is their hourly pay rate as a substitute.
Understood, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good clarification. Are there other questions or comments? All right, it's been moved and supported to approve the bus driver and monitor, cafeteria, administrative assistant, and custodial substitute pay rates as detailed in attachment D. Ms. Murray?
Murray, yes. Sislo,
Yes.
Farrow,
Yes.
Freight,
Yes?
Gutierrez.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-0.
Excellent. All right. This brings us back to communications and community engagement, again with the public comments. I'll read this reminder again. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business. It's not to be considered a public meeting. There are 2 times for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. When addressing the board, you will be asked to state your name. The board determines the amount of time granted to individuals or groups to speak. Each person shall be allowed to speak for up to 3 minutes. The board members may question speakers but are not obligated to answer questions or make statements or commitments in response to issues raised by the public. In general, such items will be referred to the superintendent for advisement, investigation, study, and/or recommendation, or designated as future agenda items. Are there any students who'd like to address the board? Are there any public members who'd like to address the board? All right. That brings us to student board representative comments. Ms. Farrow.
We would like to give a congratulations to all students who have completed their respective fall sports, and good luck to the girls and boys cross country teams in their regional meet at Lake Erie Metro Park at 9 a.m. this weekend. You can purchase tickets now at Showtix for You for the upcoming Alice in Wonderland production at the high school. And congrats and good luck to any senior who's begun their college application process at today's Big Red Time at the high school. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have just a little bit more than she does.
Okay, Ms. Powell.
Congratulations to the varsity football team for making it to playoffs. We play Flat Rock High School at Flat Rock this Friday, October 27th at 7 p.m. The tickets are not going to be available at the gate, so you have to purchase them online. I think the website is to be posted on the athletic page. I'm not sure about that though, so don't quote me on that. Last week was senior night for the football players, cheerleaders, and band members. I thought it went really well. I know that there was a lot of heart and meaning put into all the posters that were made for the seniors on the football team and the cheer team. The girl that gave me mine actually started crying. The fall play at the high school is looking like a huge success. I've been told by my theater friends many, many times that they are really bringing the magic out in the Alice in Wonderland play. Girls basketball had their information meeting tonight at 6 p.m. in the cafeteria, which was mandatory for players and parents to attend. Peer-to-peer, we had our kickoff event at the Eastern Michigan University campus on Monday, and which was an all-day event. It was a huge success. We had a lot of fun, got a lot of ideas, and we came up with a lot of ideas that aren't just going to benefit the high school peer-to-peer group, but also the middle school and Simons as well. A reminder that the bowling team has an information meeting November 2nd in the MCIS at 7 p.m. The first day of practice starts November 13th with more information at the meeting. Boys basketball has tryouts on Monday, November 13th through 15th from 2:30 to 5 p.m. Girls basketball has tryouts Monday, November 20th through 21st from 4:30 to 6:30. The wrestling team, which I'm so excited about, their season begins Monday, November 13th in the wrestling room from 2:30 to 5:15. Boys swim and dive begins November 20th, and I'm just, from all the winter sport sign-ups that have gone out within the last couple weeks. Boys hockey has tryouts Monday, November 30th at the Cube in Ann Arbor. Girls hockey has tryouts Monday, October 30th at the Chelsea Ice Rink. If you signed up, you should have already received an email with information about that. In the middle school, their play, they are so excited about it. I have a friend, her little brother is in the middle school, and he's like, it's all he could talk about. Boys 7th and 8th grade basketball team has tryouts Friday, October 27th, and Monday, October 30th, from after school until 5 p.m., which their season has been announced to end December 19th. The 6th through 8th grade girls and boys swim and dive team begins November 20th at the high school pool, which their season is set to end at the end of January. The 6th through 8th grade wrestling team for both boys and girls begins December 11th, right after school in the middle school wrestling room. And then the 7th through 8th grade girls basketball team has tryouts starting Monday, January 8th in the middle school competition gym. Okay, I'm done.
All right, thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. Mr. McMahon was at a conference this evening, so he will not be making it to the meeting. Mr. Gearbaugh, superintendent comments.
Yes, thank you. Just wanted to do an athletics wrap-up. Some of the accomplishments from the fall season. While some of our teams are still competing, they have accomplished some things already. So girls swimming and diving had their 24th consecutive year of being undefeated in the Huron League dual competitions. Their league meet is coming soon, and if they win that league meet, that would be their 24th consecutive year of being the league champion. Boys soccer competed hard in their district championship game, but despite that loss, they ended the season with the second most wins in a season in school history. So just a great year for our boys soccer team. Football is headed to the playoffs against Flat Rock on October 27th. Boys tennis was runner-up in the Huron League, and volleyball was runner-up in the Huron League and has their district competition next week. So just a lot of accomplishments already made and several teams that are going on to postseason competition. Just a little bit more detail, the Milan High School production, Alice in Wonderland, November 16th at 7 p.m., November 17th at 7 p.m., and November 18th at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. So looking forward to going and seeing our students performing on stage. Our parent-teacher conferences took place last week. I just truly want to take time to express my appreciation for all the extra hours that our staff put in throughout that week. It really does make for a long week to teach students throughout the day and then speak with parents throughout the evening. But it is noted that the conversations that our teachers had with parents are tremendously important in developing that homeschool relationship. I also want to take a minute to thank all of the community groups and individuals that were involved in providing meals and snacks for our staff while they were here late. A lot of our PTOs and parent groups and sunshine clubs put a lot of time and effort, and just individual parents, honestly, dropping things off and dropping pop off and food off and different things. I don't know if they truly realize how much that means to the staff to be able to pop down when they have a quick break and be able to grab something to eat. Pupil count update. So last year, our state blended count was 1905.64. Our October count last year was 1905.16. We are projecting that our October count, which is still in process, so these are preliminary numbers, will be approximately 1854. That would give us a blended count of 1857.52, which is about 5 students below what our preliminary budget was built on. So we're not too far off, and it's important to note that there is a Section 29, Section 7 enrollment stabilization payment that we will be receiving. We do not yet know what that amount is because the formula can't be calculated until our October count is completed and the state has authorized it. But I am of the belief that that enrollment stabilization payment will more than cover the 5 student FTEs that we were that we came in at under our preliminary budget amount. So I'm fairly confident that when all is said and done, our revenue from the per pupil state aid will be at or higher than the amount that we built into our preliminary budget. I do want to note that the October to October loss is approximately 51 students, and almost 100% of that can be attributed to the difference between our 2022-2023 graduating class and our 2023-2024 entering kindergarten class size. I can tell you our high school proper graduation was about 24 students higher than our kindergarten number coming in, so you're already down 24, and then you add in approximately 20 graduates from ECA and 3 or 4 graduates from Y-High, and we are very close to a difference of 51 between our graduating seniors last year and our incoming kindergarten numbers. So the good news is that means that we held our own between first grade and 12th grade. The concern is that birth rates are down, and this is true in Washtenaw County and Monroe County. Birth rates 5 years ago were down, and we're seeing our elementary kindergarten numbers coming in between 110 and 120 instead of coming in that 140 to 160 that we used to see. This is not just a Milan issue. This is a trend across the state. You can very easily just Google and you will find articles about it everywhere. Some of this is birth rate and some of this is families leaving the state of Michigan, and you can see the state of Michigan starting to put a lot of effort into promoting living in Michigan because they are seeing folks leaving the state. Luckily, again, our budget is very close to being in line, and like I said, I believe with that rates enrollment stabilization payment, we will be in line with our budget. On Tuesday, September 26th, as you remember, the Milan Area Schools Administrative Team hosted a webinar on reimagining Milan Area Schools 2024, 2025, and beyond. That recording is available on the district website. We also had 2 scheduled question and answer nights. One of them occurred this Monday. The other one is scheduled for this coming Monday. This coming Monday is at 6 p.m. in the middle school librarium. And we will take any and all questions and answers. We do ask that before people come to that event, they do view the video because a lot of the basic questions are answered in that video. I do want to be clear that our plan is in 24-25, that the infant and toddler program will move from Simons to Paddock. The 2nd grade will move from Paddock to Simons. The 5th grade will move from Simons to the middle school and will be part of a 5th, 6th grade cohort. And we will be moving adult and community education from the middle school to the high school. We do really ask that parents come out to these question and answer nights. We've advertised them, we've had them in emails, we've had them on the website. I will tell you that we had 1 parent come to Monday's event. And she asked 2 questions. She doesn't even have students in the district right now. She's going to have grandkids in the district. She asked 2 questions, and she said, I wish it had been this way when my kids went through. We waited around 15 to 20 minutes, and no other parent showed up. So I really hope that if parents have questions, they would come and ask us and get factual information, or review the video and make sure they get information there. And again, that next event is next Monday, October 30th at 6 p.m. in the middle school librarium. The District Communications Committee met on Monday. The committee has started working on developing goals. It appears that they are going to settle on 3 focus areas. One will be developing a communication strategy that will encompass methods, audience, sender, urgency, and content. The second focus area will be supporting the transition of the district website and/or investigating a school district app. And the third area of focus will be investigating and making recommendations regarding 2-way communication systems. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Yerba. Next up is board member comments.
Mr. Sisson.
Yeah, Mr. Farrell.
Just a comment. I'm hoping that we will get an update soon with respect to board policies. I don't know if we're there yet, but I did want to make sure that was on everybody's radar. The other thing I wanted to mention is with respect to the current budget, we anticipate budget adjustments, considerations for budget adjustments to be addressed in November or December. One of the items that we have to take a look at is the influx of funds from the state of Michigan for breakfast and lunches, So I'm sure that I'll be connecting with Krista and Brian on all of that prior to that coming to the board. I want to thank Avery and Maya for their comments and updates on all the fall sports and the activities going on in the district. I wanted to especially comment on Milan varsity soccer. Brian Gearbaugh stole my bullet point. The program, the boys program, had an amazing season. 13 wins, 4 losses, and 2 ties. Their worst defeat was the last game. By 2 goals, they lost to Grosse-Ile 3-1 in the district final. I just want to comment on the seniors on that team. I did not know many of them until my son started participating in the program, and that program is blessed with amazing seniors. The leadership in that program was just tremendous. So great kids, great season, and I just wanted to go on record and make sure that they knew that those things are important. Winning is fun, and winning is a goal, obviously, but having great kids and great leaders in our community is obviously important. I also wanted to comment on a recent email communication that Mr. Gearbaugh had sent out on school safety. It was sent out to parents in mid-September. I just wanted to go on record and say that I thought it was very, very good. And I appreciate Mr. Gearbaugh sending that out to our community. And that's all for me.
Thank you, Mr. Farrow. Others?
Mr.
Yeah,
Sisla?
Ms. Gutierrez.
I'd like to start by also thanking Avery and Maya for their very comprehensive feedback and comments, and I really appreciate starting to include some of the other events at middle school and other buildings. As a middle school parent, thank you, Avery. I learned some things tonight that I'll be taking home to my middle schooler, so I appreciate that, and I appreciate the inclusivity. I also wanted to thank our building administrators and teachers for really wonderful and efficient parent-teacher conferences. I was at conferences at both Simons and the middle school for my students, and I was just so impressed and grateful that the teachers had, even at the middle school where they have dozens of students, they had specific printouts for each child ready to go to show me their growth, to show me what they were missing. One teacher even had the assignment that my son was missing ready to give to me so he could make it up. And I was so grateful for how prepared and professional they were. And I can't imagine the amount of work that went into that. And so I just really commend both the leadership and the investment that our staff have made. And then the only other thing I wanted to comment on and provide some gratitude for was the event on Monday night. While not a Milan area schools event, it was a large community event supporting Aid in Milan. This was the Empty Bowls event. And I wanted to bring it up specifically because there were so many Milan area schools students there, both as attendees but also as helpers. And so students who were volunteering at the event, in particular our National Junior Honor Society students were there helping bus tables and refill baskets and provide beverages. And it was just really, it was a packed house, it was a busy night, but it was really, really wonderful to see so many of our own students there participating in an event that really benefits so many in our community. And so that made me very proud and very heartwarmed to see their investment. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gutierrez. Others? You're good?
Mr. Zisla?
Yes, Ms. Frey.
Thank you. I too appreciate the updates from our student council, our student representatives. Thank you guys. Appreciate that, as well as the comments of my fellow board members. And the following is not easy for me to say. However, I have reached a place in my life where I can afford to take chances and enjoy new adventures and opportunities. After subbing in Milan for over 10 years and serving on the Board of Education for 5 years now, a few things have changed. I've had to endure verbal attacks, intensive scrutiny when I clearly followed policy, and being questioned and judged for hugging our students. It's become clear to me the direction I need to pursue. I cannot become something I am not. I now have an opportunity which has welcomed my questions, thoughts, and opinions, valued my experience and insight, and encouraged me to engage with students, to include hugging on a daily basis. I found a new home where I am welcomed. It is a true family, and as all of us would agree, family must come first.
That being said, effective immediately, I hereby resign as trustee to the board, or Milan Board of Education. I feel confident that this board will handpick my replacement and continue to pursue their strategic goals and plans. It has been an honor serving this community, and I will forever be thankful to the students and families that have given me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. You will be missed. All right. As far as my comments, the one thing I do know is Miss Rosen Leacher. She's arranged for us, board members who are able to attend downtown trick-or-treating, which is this Friday. The school board members that can attend will be on the corner of Tolan and Main Street near Hungry Howie's there. So please find us there. We will not have candy. We will have other treats to hand out to the kids. So please visit us at our table. With that, I don't have any other comments. Any other comments?
Mr. Sislo.
Yeah, Mr. Fair.
I just want to thank Ms. Freight for her service to the district. Obviously, I'm a bit surprised, but I understand your need or desire to want to step away. You were very welcoming to me when I got on the Board of Education, and I just want to thank you for your service.
Mr. Sislo?
Yeah, Ms. Gutierrez.
I too, Krista, I'm going to miss you deeply, and I'm also surprised, but I think that we each have to make decisions about how our time is spent and where we spend our mental and professional resources. And I'm so grateful that you have always been so welcoming and so willing to have conversations, sometimes hard conversations, and I've learned a great deal from you in listening to you over the last few months since I've been on this board, and I wish you all of the best, and I really am grateful for your service, both in working with you and prior to me coming on the board, so thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Mr. Sislo?
Yeah, Ms. Murray.
Okay. Yeah, admittedly, I'm also surprised and greatly disappointed, if I'm honest, and a bit distracted by all the minute taking, so I apologize for my frazzledness, but I just want to echo Ms. Gutierrez and Mr. Farrell's comments. I have really appreciated serving with you even in this brief time, and I just respect your decision, and I wish you all the best, and I will miss sitting next to you and being able to cheat off your notes if I miss something, so yeah, thank you very much for your service and your leadership. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I thank you for your service ever since Madeline and Kate were small little girls. You've been a fixture for Milan area schools, so I appreciate your service as a sub and through up to being a board member. So thank you very much. Yeah, Miss Powell.
Miss Free, I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss seeing your smiling face every time I walk in here. You were the light of my life while you were on the school board. Just want you to know that.
All right. Any others? All right. It's next up on the is other old and new business. I need a motion to enter into closed session pursuant to Section 8(1)B of the Michigan Open Meetings Act and upon request of the student's parent or guardian for the purpose of conducting a hearing to consider the discipline of a student whose identity is known to the board as student 2023-2024-2.
Moved by Gutierrez.
Support by Farrow.
It's been moved and supported to enter into closed session pursuant to Section 8(1)B of the Michigan Open Meetings Act and upon request of the student's parent or guardian for the purpose of conducting a hearing to consider the discipline of a student whose identity is known to the board as student 2023-2024-2. Is there any discussion? And just so everybody's aware, the only other business will be the vote on that student discipline and then adjournment, so there will be no other business before the board other than that vote. With that, it's been moved and supported to enter into closed session pursuant to Section 81B of the Michigan Open Meetings Act and upon the request of the student's parent guardian for the purpose of conducting a hearing to consider the discipline of a student whose identity is known to the board as student 2023-2024-2. Ms. Murray?
Murray, yes. Sislo?
Yes.
Farah?
Yes.
Freight?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, we are going into closed session at 7:50. Thank you to everyone who's attended. All right, we are returning to open session at 8:44. I need a motion to suspend student 2023-2024-2 in accordance with the resolution that I will read right now. The administration has recommended that a student whose identity is known to the board as student 2023-2024-2 be suspended for the remainder of the first trimester for assaulting another student. School administrators notified the student's parents, guardians of the specific charge, underlined the discipline recommendation, as well as the date, time, and place of the disciplinary hearing. Pursuant to the request of the student's parents, guardians, and is authorized by Michigan Open Meetings Act, Section 81B, MCL 15.2681B, the disciplinary hearing was conducted in a closed session meeting of the board. The hearing afforded the student and the student's representatives an opportunity to respond to the charge and to present pertinent evidence for the board's consideration. The board has carefully considered all of the evidence produced in the student discipline hearing. Now therefore be it resolved that a preponderance of the evidence establishes that on October 4th, 2023, the student assaulted another student. Based on careful consideration of all the following factors, the board determines that the suspension is warranted. Consider the student's age, the student's disciplinary history, whether the student has a disability, and the seriousness of the behavior, whether the behavior posed a safety risk, whether restorative practices are a better option, and whether lesser intervention would address this behavior. The student is suspended for the remainder of the first trimester. During the time of the suspension, the student may not be on school grounds or attend any functions at the district without prior written approval from an appropriate administrator. In addition to the suspension, the student must complete a restorative practice exercise as determined by a building principal upon returning to school to repair harm to other students and the school environment. The student's failure to complete the restorative practice exercise may result in further disciplinary consequences. During the time of suspension, the student must complete classroom work assigned by his teachers, not engage in conduct that may be viewed by board as detrimental to the student's continued education at the district, agree to follow a re-entry safety plan as determined by the superintendent and/or building principal that includes, at a minimum, school-based counseling, mandatory daily check-ins with a trusted adult. The student's parents must agree to the terms of the re-entry safety plan. Failure to satisfy these requirements may result in further disciplinary consequences. Consistent with the revised school code sections 11A and 13111, the board finds that the interests in the district are served by this resolution. Administrators are directed and authorized to implement all terms of this resolution and are delegated all necessary authority to do so. All resolutions and parts of resolutions insofar as they conflict with this provision of this resolution all resolutions and parts of resolutions insofar as they conflict with the provisions of this resolution be and the same are hereby rescinded. I need a motion to support that resolution.
Moved by Murray.
Support by Gutierrez.
It's been moved and supported to suspend student 2023-2024-2 in accordance with the resolution that I just read. Is there any further discussion? Right. It's been moved and supported to suspend student 2023-2024-2 in accordance with the attached resolution that I just read. Ms. Murray?
Sislo,
Yes.
Farrow,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Murray, yes. Motion carries 4-0.
All right, the meeting is adjourned at 8:48.